Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Erica with Memory Box Candle Co. And I make videos all about the journey of starting a candle business. In today's video, we are going to be really diving into the topic of pricing your candles. And not only that, we're going to be focused on profit and focused on really the difference between retail and wholesale pricing. Now, I've said this before in other videos, but I really do think that understanding your cost of goods price and pricing your products properly is the foundation of your business. Because if you're not pricing your products for a profit, then you are really not going to do very well in the long run with your business. And I do believe that that is just kind of the foundation, the starting point of any good business. So when it comes to pricing your handmade items, I understand that this can be a challenge. And most of the time it's more mental than anything, because we're thinking about, okay, well, we're hand making something and we're supposedly supposed to be pricing it like way higher than some of these other bigger, larger manufacturers of candles and all that kind of stuff. And it can be kind of one of those things where you feel a little bit of imposter syndrome when it comes to pricing yourself. And that's normal. That's something that a lot of people go through. But at the end of the day, it is a business. If you are wanting to turn your candle making hobby or craft or whatever it is into a business, you definitely have to price for profit. You don't want to short yourself, because that's only going to hurt you in the long run and then make you feel frustrated later on down the line when you feel like you're not making enough money.
Hi, it's me, just interrupting this video real fast just to let you know that I do offer a handmade business planner for any business owner that is looking to get organized. I have a digital planner template that you're able to use to help with organization, planning, and structure within your weekly routine. I know how overwhelming it can be, and this has really helped me. So if you're looking for something like this, go ahead and click on the first link in the description box below.
So there's a lot that can go into pricing your candles. I mean, I've talked about perceived value before in the past, and that's why some brands and businesses are able to charge, over $100, $200 for their candles because of marketing and branding and everything that goes into it. And it allows them to be able to charge more for their products, and they're not really focused on, following any kind of formula or anything like that. They're really taking the branding and the marketing to be able to have a very large profit margin. But if we're just looking at it from a very basic level, for me personally, when it comes to pricing my products, now I didn't know about this at the beginning, that I was really kind of pricey it this way. This is just something that I've learned over time, is that I am taking into account my cost of goods sold. So that is how much it costs me to make a single candle. That is going to affect how much I'm going to retail it for, as well as I also add on an additional percentage, an additional amount onto that for labor costs. Now, I'm not going to be spending a bunch of time figuring out, if I paid myself $20 an hour, if it takes this much to make a candle, I'm going to add this much on. You can do that if you want to. I just have kind of a general guideline, which is basically cost of goods times 4 plus 10 to 20%. You could even do 10 to 25%. Whatever it is that you want to add on, if you want to have, maybe on the higher side of pricing, or maybe on kind of more of that lower mid-range, if you just want to do 10%, whatever it is, it's going to give you a little bit more of a buffer of having, not just the cost of goods price times 4, which is kind of the standard when it comes to pricing for retail. And that's just because you want to make sure that you are going to be having a good gross profit margin when you are selling your candle. But you do have to take into consideration, if you're growing at a really good rate, you end up hiring an employee, you want to make sure that you have kind of that extra buffer there so that you're paying the employee, all that kind of stuff. For us personally, it's just me and Chris right now in the business. So that's not something that we are, having to take into account, but it may have to be taken into account in the future. So that's definitely something to consider when you are pricing your candles. Now, if you don't know how to find your cost of goods for your products that you're making, there are a couple different ways that you can do it. I do have a video, I believe, where I've gone through and I've showed how to break everything down if you want to really try to do it by hand and understand it. There are apps out there that will do it for you. And then also if you have Inventora, which is my inventory software, after you put in all of the details of all of your products, it will actually automatically calculate your cost of goods for you, which is really, really helpful, super helpful. So I no longer personally do it by hand. I just go based off of Inventora, but you have to know that number in order to figure out your pricing for both retail and wholesale. So when it comes to retail pricing, again, I recommend at the bare minimum doing your cost of goods and multiplying that number by 4. So if it costs you $5 to make a candle, you're retailing for $20. And that is the absolute minimum that I recommend that you do. I don't recommend you do times 3 and sell it at $15. You can if you want to, but that is really limiting yourself on deals that you'd be able, sales that you'd be able to run. If you wanted to do wholesale, having your profit margin be that slim, it really just kind of benefits more of the wholesaler, of the retailer, than it does for you. And the reason behind that is because if your candle cost $5 to make and you are retailing at $15, wholesale pricing is 50% off. You're giving a 50% off deal. So you are selling each candle for $7.50, and then you would be earning $2.50 for every candle that you sold. And it shouldn't be that way. It should be at least $5 that you're earning off of the $5 that it cost you to make it, or even more than that. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be showing you on Shopify. So Shopify has something called it's called a wholesale profit margin calculator. So this allows you to kind of understand the markup percentage, understand what, if you sell something at a certain price, what your profit is, and then what your margin is within that profit that you're earning. So again, let's just say that it costs you $5 to make one of your candles. For wholesale pricing, you have to mark that up at least by 100%. So if we're looking right here, the cost of the item is $5, your sale price is $10, your profit is $5, so your gross margin is 50%. Your gross margin should never be below 50% when it comes to pricing for wholesale. And again, the reason behind that is because let's say you only did a markup of 50%, you're selling at $7.50, your gross margin is 33%. So their gross margin when they go to resell at $15, they're going to be making that 50% and you're only making 33%. It shouldn't be that way. You should both be making the 50%, or you should be making a little bit more because you're kind of giving that buffer when it comes to pricing your candles. So when it comes to retail pricing, I recommend marking up 300% when it comes to retail pricing. Again, the reason behind that is because we're seeing $5, you multiply that number by 4, your sale price is $20. So your profit on everything is $15, gross margin 75%. This is for retail pricing. I know this says wholesale profit margin calculator, but just as an example, I wanted to show you that. So when it comes to retail pricing, I would mark it up 300%. And then of course, when it comes to wholesale pricing, definitely at least that 100%. But let's say we did 125%. That would mean that you would be pricing each of your candles at $22.50. And you can already see that your profit is greater than what it would be if you only marked it up 100%. And that's because you would be selling it and getting back a profit that's larger than the total cost of goods of your item. So your gross margin is over that 50%. So again, for wholesale, when you're looking into it, I would recommend to have this number be over 50% to make sure that you're really getting the profit that you really deserve in your business, and that's going to make the most sense when you are scaling and growing and being able to, make your time worth it. So this is definitely not something to overcomplicate or anything like that, but to go on there, play around with the pricing, understanding the markup percentages, the gross profit margin, and how much you're actually going to be earning on each sale that you're going to be getting for both wholesale and retail. It's really important for you to understand that and know that within your business, because again, this is the foundation. This is the foundation of your business. This is how you know if this is something that when you scale or you grow long term, that you are actually making a profit on each individual product that you are selling. It is very normal and common in business in the first few years to end up in the red at the end of the year, simply because you're purchasing bulk supplies. You're purchasing more in supplies than the sales you have coming in. But as long as your individual profit margin on each of your products that you're selling is in the green or the black or whatever it is, as long as you're making a profit, a good profit on each individual product that you are selling, it's going to catch up over time, and you're going to be able to reinvest that money back into it. And you're going to be able to end up, in the positive at the end of the year, even if it does take a few years for that to happen. But with that, I think I'm going to end today's video right here. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave it a big thumbs up, as well as subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, don't forget to follow me over on Instagram at Memory Box Candle Co. And I will see you in my next video.